Welcome to the Lakeside Legends, the Chronicles of Ravira PC review.
Some quick announcements. Aetherealms streams at 5:30 p.m. PST on Monday, and Chronicles of Ravira is set to begin at the beginning of May. So
exciting.
You want to go first?
Yeah, no, it's nice to meet you all. I'm Ruka. This is going to be one of the first campaigns that I'm a part of. I'm RukaSamuels on all my social media platforms, and I'll be playing a Tiefling cleric named Felicity Bliss.
I am Storm. I go by StormSorceress on any kind of social media, and I will be playing a changeling druid named Nyx.
Nyx. So we have some questions that we're going to rapid fire back and forth to each other, mainly about our characters and what we thought about them. And so I'm gonna ask you the first question, Storm. What was your inspiration for Nyx?
So kind of my initial first inspiration was through TikTok. I do cosplay. I mean, Ruka does cosplay as well. Wonderful. But so I do a lot of cosplay, a lot of kind of changing makeup kind of stuff, and in real life I am a veterinarian. So a couple of my followers started referring to me as a changeling druid if I was ever a PC
makes sense.
in a D&D campaign, and that was kind of my initial inspiration. I don't know if Nyx is exactly it's not a full self-insert, but that was kind of my jumping off point for them. And then also moving out to Colorado, lots of mountains, forest vibes, hiking, everything like that kind of gave a lot of inspiration for their backstory and kind of their vibe in general. So what about you?
So for Felicity, I usually pull inspiration for my characters by a concept or a visual. So it kind of bleeds into the question of the next question that we have is what colors and looks for your character and all that. But I saw the Valentine colors. It was it wasn't Valentine's Day or anything, but it was a Valentine palette, and I was like, oh, that's so pretty. This would work really well for a tiefling. And so I made literally the personification of a Valentine in a character. So super sweet, very fluffy type of inspo for this character. And the more that I got to know her, I think she's character-wise very much kind of like Jane from Tarzan. To be honest,
Nice.
she has those proper vibes, but also she's in a whole new world and gonna get destroyed.
Gonna have the opposite vibes of my druid who's been living in a forest their entire life.
Yeah, she's literally small town. Well, not small town girl, but a very much privileged, noble-esque type character who's I'm gonna go help people, and then not realizing that how dark the world is. But since I answered kind of she's Valentine inspired, what inspired Nyx's colors and look?
So Nyx's colors are a lot of purple, blue, kind of cool tone gradients, and part of it was the subclass that I ended up choosing, which is Circle of Stars. So I was thinking a lot of galaxy type colors and everything like that. And with them being changeling, I ended up doing it a little bit more pastel muted. I mean, there's still some dark kind of earthy colors, but overall I was just, they probably don't fit in with the mountain vibe itself. They're going to stick out, but I think that's also part of it too, is I initially made them as honestly kind of almost like a park ranger, even though I chose druid. They're made to be able to be found and help people. So also having a character that you could see very easily in the snow and everything like that would be very useful.
Snow.
Yeah, just right stark against the snow, just straight purple.
Team.
Yeah.
We got purple and like pink as heck.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Oh my gosh. So this is the vibe that you wanted, and the aesthetic for this character. I think that's kind of like I said, kind of like what we've already answered. Like
Yeah.
for me, the aesthetic was very Valentine, reds, pinks, and
Mhm.
everything but the eyes. I think in
Mm.
Felicity has like that tone. So
What'd
that
you
was the
choose
aesthetic
for
for me.
eyes?
I kept her blue.
Okay.
And honestly, for selfish reasons, because I was like, if I'm gonna cosplay this character down the line, I hate contacts so much, so we're just gonna give her blue eyes.
That's
There you go.
that's fair.
Right.
Um, I feel like I kinda answered the vibe too, just, like, very the clothing themselves are very, like, mountain kind of rugged, but
Oh yeah,
also
do we want to
very
show the art right now? So while we're
Yeah.
are talking about it, because the next question is like, what item or symbol that is meaning to your character revealed in the art? But I've not seen Nyx's official art. I don't think so.
Think I've
Yeah,
seen
if we can get
Felicity's either.
like, oh, hello.
Wait, is it in the stream?
It's in stream. You
It
can't see it because I have headphones on, but I'm hair tucking right now.
is.
Debbie Ryan hair tucking.
That is their official art, but it's also one of their many forms.
It's so good. Oh my gosh.
I've got a couple of different forms that we don't have like character art for, because that would be a lot to hey,
Yeah.
I want character art for my own character. But I ended up picking I think 4 key forms that they kind of switch through just
Just
as
so good.
natural. And so, kind of going on to the next question, item or symbol, it would be the staff that Nyx is carrying. It works as essentially kind of their arcane focus. Um, the Circle of Stars druid, they usually have a kind of guiding symbol, so kind of like star maps
Mhm.
that sailors would use. So they've got a different focus that is their star map, and I ended up doing it um, using their staff as their
Nice.
arcane focus. So it's
Look
got
at
a lot
that.
of
I
like
love
blue,
it.
like lichen and everything growing on it. Um, that's probably their most interesting item.
I love the braids so much.
I I, I have cosplayed Nyx, and it is
You
on my
have.
TikTok for people who don't know. I've also used this purple wig for other characters, but I put so many braids in it that I'm scared to take it out and never be able to do it again.
Right? Just too many spoons
Yeah.
to fix the wig. Oh
Like
my
maybe
gosh.
maybe I'll just buy another wig for Imogen. I don't know. Just keep it
Right?
as is.
The
Yeah.
struggle. But oh my gosh, I love that in general. I'm so excited to see everyone's like character art together.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
What about Felicity now?
Oof. So kind of funny enough, Felicity also has a staff.
Oh my god.
Um yeah, she's a bean.
Oh, so great. I
Uh
love it.
she is baby. Um, but very much like I wanted her design to be really innocent and kind of wide-eyed
Yeah.
type of feel. She's also got her staff, which is where she serves like so she serves a joy goddess. So like I don't think Venora has like an official symbol because she's a homebrew goddess for the world that we're in. But before I kind of like I just kind of was like, well, the sun kind of is what her mission is, her own personal mission is. So I put some sun pendants um on there, and then the only other like significant piece of clothing that she has is her chest plate. Um because it's a chest plate that she took off of her family's wall before she left.
On style.
She was just kind of like, I'll need this. She took
I
she was
love
like,
it.
I like this one. So she just took it and they're like, okay. And she just took that and some money and was like, all right, I'm gonna go be useful.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I love her design so much though.
It's
Oh my gosh.
I love how everything just like flows.
Yes, it's
Gorgeous.
definitely I wanted it to be it's definitely not as like practical as I would choose to go into like a dungeon or a battle with.
There.
I was like, I swear her dress stuff is gonna get like caught in something,
Dirty so
or she's gonna
fast.
do like she's gonna do like the Disney princess fall on some stairs. Like she's definitely probably gonna change as she adapts to her circumstances. But for now, she's like, oh yes, a battle dress.
I love it.
Could go wrong.
All
I love
right.
that.
So pretty. I can't
Okay.
stop staring at it.
Yeah.
So on to our D12 game.
Yes. So we got a D12 game where our lovely host has given us 12 questions, and we have a D12 that we will roll, and whatever it rolls on is the question that we shall answer. You want to go first?
Sure. I got a 9. So what is their view on magic? As a druid, obviously kind of positive, understandably. I wasn't expecting this question, so I didn't have like a full workup for it, but definitely I would say as a very useful tool. Nyx is a fairly practical person. They're not one to kind of like willy-nilly use it for pranks and everything, anything like that. More of this is a kind of Peter Parker-esque, with great power comes great responsibility kind of thing. And they don't think magic is inherently positive or negative, but overall serves humanity for the greater good.
Nice. I guess I'll answer that too before I roll, and we could just that. But
Works.
same thing. Felicity's a cleric, and she serves a god, even though she's not necessarily like attached to that god. Like she's not like a worshiper per se. It just happened to be who she's got her abilities from. Um, I feel like for her, she's less practical because she's, like I said, very doe-eyed, like shapes and colors. To where like she's gonna come across very like groomed and practical in first introduction. I feel like that character where you're like, oh wow, they've got a good head on their shoulders, and they're like, oh, they're really chill. But as soon as you get to know her, she's gonna reveal a lot of like her inexperience and just kind of youth, and that might come out in the way that she uses magic, and how I don't think she's ever faced any sort of like dark magic. So that'll be interesting. She's fairly sheltered. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. But let's see what I rolled. A 6.
Okay.
What is their biggest pet peeve? Oh gosh. Ah, probably like just rudeness, because for me, like Felicity, like she comes from like that noble household. She comes from a household of all women. Um so her sisters and her mother, like like if a man were like to approach her and just be like super rude and unreasonable and like chewing with their mouth open, or like all sloppy and like, slamming down things, she would probably be very annoyed, because she just doesn't understand that behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't thought about this. Feel like
Same.
I feel like Nyx's would be more kind of similar, but more disrespect. So people coming through their forest and disrespecting nature, like lighting fires where they shouldn't be, and being rude to kind of other travelers. Just overall ignorance of how to treat others and nature and animals, that kind of thing. Probably be their biggest pet peeve.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely think like it'll be interesting to see, like I said, when the full party comes together, if like rudeness and disrespect and like being disrespected is like a mutual thing, where it's kind of like, don't talk about our party. See what? Do we want to do one more question? Because we're flying through these pretty. Doo-doo-doo.
Are they guided by a prophecy? Oh, we're only at 15 minutes. I think we have time.
We're just blazing through this, man.
Guided by a prophecy. Oh man, so I did this whole backstory with Cole so long ago. I would say not a true prophecy, but Nyx does have a goddess that they follow as well to some degree, because I cannot get away from clerics even if I'm playing a different class.
Me and you both. Me and you both. Sacred Flame is my handicap. I cannot play without it.
I think I get Sacred Flame with Circle of Stars Druid.
Please, I just want both of our clerics to be like Sacred Flame.
Are you a cleric too?
Yeah.
No. You have a god? Yes.
Yeah, the joy goddess. One of Cole's homebrew.
Yeah. So I ended up doing oh god, I'm not gonna pronounce their Scotty. I'm probably pronouncing that way off, but the Norse god of snow. So it's part of the backstory, so I don't want to kind of reveal everything, but they didn't give them a prophecy, but more of a goal. To kind of help people as they go along in life and kind of wherever that takes them. And Nyx has definitely taken that to heart. So I don't know if it'd be considered like a full prophecy, but they were given a task by a deity. So
counts. I would say that counts.
Close.
Man. Okay. I don't think this question really applies to her, so for what has been their best worst date. Well, so here's the thing. Felicity has never been on a date. She's read about dates. I feel like she would answer this question like, "Oh, you mean like on the calendar? Like, what's
God.
my
Sweet beanie.
I'm a Leo." Like that type of thing. She's not that dumb. But
April 25th, because it's not too hot. Not too cold.
Exactly. She basically like so I purposely made her a hopeless romantic because I felt like it fit with like the whole raised and sheltered, surrounded by women, very much like I said, the whole wide-eyed innocence. Like she's very hopeless romantic. So she's not been on a date yet, but I feel like it will be very easy to get her attention or like woo her because she's like I said, she's like, "Oh, I've read these books." Right? Like I've read the books. You're the strong, handsome man that's come to save us. And I have a feeling she's going to learn some very hard lessons about who to trust in that way. But yeah, so she's not had technically any dates yet because I'm pretty sure not that it was like a rule in her family, but I'm pretty sure they're very strict on kind of who you date and who you bring in to their circle. So I don't think she's because she's fairly young. So I don't think. Well, she's like. Think. Oh, what do I have her actual age as? Because it's so she's like 25 in human terms. So she's like mid-adult, but she's like I picture the energy being like from Enchanted.
Yeah.
Is it? Or like the girls
Giselle?
all singing Giselle, yeah.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the energy.
Oh my god. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Nyx has been on dates. They were probably the issue. So
no.
Not in the way that they're like a red flag, like problematic kind of thing, but they did grow up in town. They do have a like family, an elven family that took them in. But there's still kind of a hermit at heart and also a changeling. So I would say probably their worst date was probably somewhere along the lines of going out to a tavern with someone, and they got too drunk and then ended up changing without kind of telling the date
Oh,
that
no.
this was like a thing they can do,
Oh, no.
and terrified them, and
Poor
they ran
Nick.
away.
Poor Nick. Oh, no. Our poor babies. So
They're
there is one
trying.
question on here that is fascinating me, and I can't look away from.
Is
I'm
it
not even gonna
11?
roll for it. Yes, it is 11. It says,
I
"I'm
noticed part of it.
curious." Okay. So the question is, your PC has been given a crocodile. They can't give it away or sell it. What would they do with the crocodile? What would Nyx do? You go first. I'm still simmering.
This is a new pet. This is
New
Nyx's pet
pet.
now. Druid. I mean, speak with animals, animal friendship. This crocodile is now the party's, for better or for worse.
I feel like Felicity would do the same. She would adopt it. She would put it through behavioral training courses and like make it wear a little ribbon.
Oh my god.
And then
Trink
like yeah,
trinket style.
exactly. Oh, exactly, just like Tricket. Yeah, yeah. Put a
Love
little
it.
pink bow around the little gator tail. Name it Mr. Snaps or something.
Nyx just keeps this, and Felicity, once she realizes that it's okay, is just decorating this entire
Oh my
gator.
gosh. I have a feeling that these two are going to like collectively adopt things and just be like, if it's put to a vote, both of their hands are gonna be up. Oh,
Nyx is definitely
let's
like on the practical side, but
super
specifically
impractical. But
this question says they can't give it away and they can't sell it, so it's there. So it's the party pet
true.
now.
It's the party pet. I
I'm not
definitely feel like Felicity's going to probably end up adopting something. I don't know what, but she can't
something.
help it. It'll hide
I'm
in her dress.
I'm now considering what the rest of the party has ended up choosing
Oh
with this
gosh, I can only
question.
imagine their
Eat it.
answers.
Someone probably said make like fried gator or something, and we're just like adopt it.
Ride it into battle.
Fair.
Surf it into battle.
Yes.
Oh.
All right. What do we have? 6. We've done that.
Mm-hmm.
12. That's interesting. What kind of mayor would your PC be? I don't think they'd want to be a mayor, to be honest, but they'd probably end up being like the ghost mayor. So they're put in charge and then put someone else at the head of the council, and they just like come back to Nyx, relay advice, and then have the vice mayor, whoever, deal with all the people.
Not a people person. Nyx isn't a people person.
So they are, to a degree. They're very focused on helping people, but I don't think they're one to be put in the spotlight of people.
Okay.
So being in charge of crowds and seeing multiple people, their kind of main thing is, I am in the forest, someone's in help, I rescue someone like maybe once a day from like a fire or wild animal or something, and that's like all the people I see, and this is good enough vibes for me.
Only you can stop forest fire.
I'm waiting for so many jokes about that because they're a druid too, so they can probably turn into a
happen.
bear at some point.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait. It's gonna be so great.
Chaos.
For Felicity, I feel like this wouldn't be too far from what she's like used to,
Mm-hmm.
per se. Like I don't think it would be like that big of a deal. She'd be like, "Oh, sure," and would probably assume the role really well. Would it be what she wanted to do? No, but she could. If she
Thrust in the
turned it
power.
on. Yeah, if she turned on like her training and her background, I feel like she could she holds herself. She's gonna have like a little RP accent.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, very posh and light. So like she could really turn that on and be very like I said, noble.
Mm-hmm.
So she could assume the mayor role, like the face of the mayor role, really well. But she wouldn't want to. She wants to kind of be free.
Yeah.
So that's probably that. Let's see what I get. Oops, we've already got that one. How would someone get their special attention? Very easily.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Are you proposing to me? She's not that bad, but she's like, oh my gosh. How would someone get their special attention? Okay, so like in all seriousness, it would probably take a like she would have like initial attractions. Like that's pretty easy to do, like the whole like little crushes and thing. But if it were like a
Mhm.
legitimate catch of feels, um, how they she'd probably be attracted to someone who is stoic and nice to kids, like that whole like caretaker
Mhm.
attitude. So if someone was like saving a child, this better not be used against me. I just kidding. If someone was like saving a child or like defending someone against injustice, that probably would be what like catches her special attention for a bit, because she's like, ah, yes, that's nice.
If
Lots
only
of
someone
hair
had,
tucking.
if only someone had a stoic druid who could turn into a very mask-looking Viking human man.
Uh, listen,
That I have
listen.
descriptions for all of the forms and hero forge things.
I will. Oh no! I hope I don't fall. She's she's going to be such a distraction. Like she's gonna try so hard not to be, but at the same time, I feel like she can't help it.
Mhm.
But like it's almost like that. What's that saying? Like you fall in love with someone every day
Yeah.
type of vibe. So we'll
Mhm.
see how that actually plays out. Like if I say all this because like this is based off of like what I've written for her,
Yeah.
but I feel like once you play them, it could be different.
Yeah.
So I say all this very loosely because I could go to play her, like being like, all right, she's gonna fall in love with everyone, and her end up being a lot more shy
Mhm.
than I intended. We'll see how that like plays out. But initially, as I've written her, she's quite the hopeless romantic, and it's going to be so much fun to. She's definitely gonna like. She's definitely the type to like talk to the bad guy and be like, "Oh, did you have a rough day?
Oh
I'm so
my
sorry
god.
to hear that. Would you mind taking this to your boss?"
Just be therapy. I'm curious
Yeah.
if you gave her a high charisma or not.
I think. Hold up. Okay, so here's the funny thing. She does charisma's not her highest.
Right.
She has a +1 in charisma. Her 2 highest is actually in intelligence and constitution. Her highest like proficiencies are in medicine and history, insight, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Persuasion. And her worst thing is strength. Got a -1 in
Fair.
strength. She is not strong whatsoever, and I find that really funny. And she's also not athletic. She's got a -1 in athletics.
Oh my god.
So
I mean,
she's
I feel like
yeah,
that kind of tracks with her backstory of
it
being
it does. That's why I was okay with
nobility.
it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, she's not very strong, and she's not super charismatic, but she's very smart.
Mhm.
She's just not really figured out. I feel like it's like the Elle Woods type of smart, where like doesn't come across like that to begin with, but then mellows out.
Yeah. Hmm. I
Yeah.
was
What
trying
about Nyx?
I was trying to think about it. So I feel like honestly getting their special attention, one of my friends, I've been kind of going back and forth with him, talking about Nyx as like a character, and he was very fascinated, and he ended up writing a little short story with them as kind of a side character in it. Ended up doing like a ranger that worked with Nyx to kind of help people through the forest and everything like that. And I feel like with kind of how he wrote the story and everything, they're just like buddies and everything, but it gave me the idea of, I feel like Nyx would be one that it would take a while to get their kind of special attention. It wouldn't be something that more kind of like a demisexual. It doesn't c- completely unlike Felicity, like it doesn't happen immediately, but kind of respecting the same things that they do, having similar interests, and then giving them that kind of quiet comfort of just companionship.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, slow burn style, end up falling. Yeah.
I love it. I'm really curious about, like I said, how the other half of these conversations are going, like with the
Yeah.
guys. Like if they're like, and like having these types of conversations. And we're over here like, long burn, enemies to lovers, really considerate. Like I cannot wait to see, or if
Yeah.
it's surprising us with the answers.
I feel like
Curious.
Tarvel wouldn't be like that, but also I feel like they'd give a lot more like jokey, non-serious answers. I am also
That's
super
true.
curious.
Marvel's amazing. I'm so excited to see how everyone kind of like blows it out of the water with expectations.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I rolled, so your
Okay.
turn.
Let me see the question numbers again. Or you know what? We're kind of dwindling down, so let me just.
Might be better to just pick at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So, where would they like to visit? Anywhere. I know it's like a really like vague answer. I haven't really like thought of where she would want to go specifically. Um, Felicity's like what her main. I'm looking at her like her notes, but like one of her main things is that she kind of grew tired of the little villages around that they helped and stuff, and so she wanted to go to bigger places. Um, so there's nowhere specifically that she's trying to go to. It's more of like what she's trying to achieve. And she's trying to achieve the same level of greatness as like her mother, and her sisters. And so that's basically it. Like wherever that is, like whatever will get her the most feeling of accomplishment and usefulness is where she is trying to go.
I feel like honestly Nick's very similar. Because they haven't been technically sheltered like Felicity has, but they've been in the same mountain range area, kind of close to where they grew up for most of their life. I mean, they eventually kind of branched out so they could help people in the forest rather than just like living with their parents and brother. But it's pretty much been kind of the same stretch of forest for a long time. So I feel like we're, for people that aren't us too, we are starting at level 5, so we're not starting at level 1. We're not just the baby characters just kind of setting out. So I think that as Nyx has grown in their power, they've kind of recognized that while they are doing good in this general region, that they might kind of be squandering the skills and power and responsibility that they have and might be useful elsewhere.
Yeah, along the same vein. Okay, this question isn't technically on the list, but this is just my own curiosity, and it might be too spoilery. So if it is, just be like, all right, skip. But does Nyx know their bio parents?
No.
Okay,
And I'll
so
leave it at that, but no.
adoptive family is the one that you're referring to, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're raised by an elven family. They have a mother and father and then an older brother. But they do not know their bio parents.
The
So a little bit of mystery, yeah.
I love it. Felicity does not know hers either.
Oh.
Why? So,
Oh. So she was also adopted?
yeah, so
Oh.
so Felicity comes from, like I mentioned, a family of all female sisters, like, but they're all different species and they're all different races. And her mother, Lady Edith Bliss, is a businesswoman slash traveler, and in her all of her grand travels, she literally just picks up infants of they're all like I said, that she picks up girls and brings them back to like her huge manor
Oh
and
my god.
raises them as her daughters.
Oh wow.
And so Edith was an infant when she was brought in. She's one of the younger Bliss sisters. They're all kind of endowed with, like potential. That's why
Mhm.
Edith takes him in.
Yeah.
And so she's one of the younger ones. Like she has a lot of like older siblings of all different kinds who
Mhm.
have like excelled in whatever they decide to do. Very much like following their mother's legacy of
Yeah.
greatness. And so she feels like she's falling behind, and that's why she's kind of wanting to get out there and travel like what her mother did. She took like the breastplate off the wall and was like, yeah, this will be fine. But yeah, no, she doesn't know. I don't even really know who her biological parents are, where she came from. I literally just kept it vague, so I don't know if the DM is going to be like, surprise, or if it'll never come up. We just don't know.
Yeah, I left it up to Cole as well. I specifically told him, I'm like, I don't have a general plan, so if you want some nice DM treats with doing literally whatever you want with that.
Would you like some Inks nuggets? Some trauma trifles?
So two of my players in a different campaign ended up doing amnesia backstories for two of them, and they're just like, do whatever. I'm like, okay,
Power.
if you insist. But yeah, so I gave him the same kind of benefit.
I literally have the habit of doing that where I tell the DM to surprise me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I instantly regret it.
And then I'm
But I
surprised.
do it again, and I never learn. Yeah, that's definitely. I'm very curious to see how all the lore is kind of like wrapped up.
Yeah. All right.
I
Have
think
we done favorite music or
no,
annoying habits?
we haven't done either of those.
Okay, I think those are the last two.
I think we've kind of answered most of them collectively. Yeah, go ahead. Since I just went.
All right. I'll do favorite music. I think if this is set in like a modern setting, I feel like it'd be like more indie folk type music. So like oh god, what am I thinking of? Like Hozier, Florence and the Machine, the Oh Hellos, just kind of like foresty vibes for sure. More like chill, relaxing, something to listen to next to like a campfire.
Yeah, I can respect those vibes.
I need to make a character playlist.
Ooh, yeah, I haven't done that for Felicity either. I feel like I'm still getting to know her.
Same.
Because I haven't got to play her yet. And I feel like once I play her, I'll like unlock that. Music wise, I feel like it's probably. I think of like Bridgerton music, where it's like modern bops but classical. Also, one of my favorite subtitles for like that whole series was like Material Girl classical remix was like the subtitle or whatever, or like In the Violin was like the subtitle, and I was like,
oh my god,
I like literally screenshot it because I was like, they literally have just like classified all these like very poppy songs. And so I feel like or like, I don't know if you've ever seen Rain, but I feel like it's very similar, where like it's a Victorian type of period drama, but they're like all dancing to like Taylor Swift and violin. So it's like I feel like that would be the type of classical music that she would
Mhm.
be. She'd be drawn to like the classical music.
Yeah.
But the same vein, she's also chaotic good. So I feel like if she were like drunk or really hyped up and feeling like that boldness, if I'm gonna be different and I'm gonna like do something that, if someone started playing like tavern music, like
Mm.
she would, lift up her skirts and dance and stuff like that. I feel like she would be all for that whimsical moment stuff.
Mhm. What about most annoying habit?
Come back to me on that one. I'll think about it for a sec.
I was also trying to think about it as putting it off.
Ah,
Oh, I feel like most annoying habit would probably be not caring as much for, like, what polite society deems. This is probably gonna get on Felicity's nerves, like,
oh,
deems as,
oh
like,
no.
um, like, they have some decorum, like, they're not just like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna, like, run around in barefoot and then walk into, like, the king's palace." Like, they're not to that level of
Oh
druid.
my gosh. We'd be like, oh no, 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 no,
Worst
no.
nightmare.
Come
There's
here, I got some shoes for you.
there's a TikTok
Oh.
audio for that. But, I feel like it would be something similar to, that as in, like, a kind of stubbornness that doesn't come out very often, but they will pick something that someone
Gonna die
doesn't
on that
like.
hill.
Yeah, that someone really doesn't like, and next be like, "That's stupid. Why do you care about that kind of thing?" And if they're, like, very insistent, they're like, "Okay, I'm gonna make this a whole thing now."
Oh no. Oh,
They're
I
getting
can
along
see it
so well.
now. I can see it now, especially because like she doesn't have like one or two comebacks, maybe, but then she's gonna get to like the huffy like like that type of frustration level. So this is gonna be mwah. Um, her most annoying habit is probably, I would say, along the veins of like, well, one, always trying to fix things.
Mm,
Um, she is a fixer for sure, and so she will try to fix everything. Um, as what I believe is kind of like her one of her flaws. But also uh, not exhibiting much emotional range in the negative.
okay.
So I feel like that would be pretty could be annoying to some party members if, they're all down and stuff and she just doesn't know how to process negative emotions. So
Mhm.
she's going to be a little more like, oh, it's okay, guys. We got this. And that might not be like people are like, oh, flip tables, it's not okay. Like
Someone died. What are you talking about?
she's always going to be a little more like happy go lucky, which depending on who you are and who you ask could be an annoying habit. Is that she's
Mhm,
always smiling type of thing.
mhm.
Um, so yeah, I guess that would be what I would answer for now. She might develop
Yeah,
some annoying habits on the road.
true,
I don't know
yeah.
how she's gonna sleep in a group or a tavern or like stuff like that because she's so used to privilege. So that'll be
Mhm.
interesting.
Alright,
I
think we finished all the questions.
think the only one that we didn't hit. So the last one that we'll hit. The last question that we haven't hit is what they do in their spare time.
Oh, okay.
So we'll answer that one and then we'll probably close out.
Yeah. Do you have any specific ideas?
Of what Felicity does in her spare
Yeah.
time? Probably read.
Mhm.
Um, like I said, she's got like the romance novels, um, and all of that, obviously. Uh, but I also feel like she'd wander around, play games, like very casual, uh, kind of seeing what everyone else is doing. That might be something that I kind of realize as I play her, but she might be very dependent, uh, friendship wise. So, like, if her party's doing something, she might always be like, well, "What you guys doing? What you doing? What you doing? I'm here." Like, ready to. So, if she has spare time, she might spend it tailing another party member
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she's not used to being alone, so it'll be very interesting. What about next?
I do have one more question. We might have kind of answered it, but I had specific. But for spare time, kind of definitely leaning into like the circle of stars druid would probably be sky watching. So watching meteor showers, kind of charting constellations, storm watching, kind of watching the changing of the sky of various ways, going up to the peak of a mountain and watching the sunset.
I love that. I just got this image though of Nick's trying to like enjoy a peaceful, like private stargazing thing, and like Felicity just like laying there beside it, like just not saying anything, but just like, oh, this is nice. Yeah. just pops up. Like, oh my gosh. I cannot wait.
It's gonna be great. I did have one, but if you had to give your character kind of like a stereotypical personality, like archetype, like a character archetype is like the like super stoic one, or the I'm trying not to say the one that I kind of have in mind, but it's more of like a yeah, the one that I have for them, but or I guess I can say it as kind of an example. But I usually like to give my characters some kind of archetype. A lot of times it's after the major arcana in tarot. But something to kind of guide them to a core of making sure I'm keeping to the character to some way. But I ended up planning on giving them kind of like a mama bear type archetype.
Nice.
So definitely one to stand up for the hurt and the lost and the young and old and that kind of thing, and generally pretty chill, pretty easygoing if someone's threatened or severely like angers them. The mama bear kind of thing comes out.
It could be a literal bear at some point.
Yeah, it could be a little bit too literal, but
I love that. For Felicity, I guess I would say the dreamer archetype, probably. Or even the hero's journey type of example, you know, where it's kind of like a fresh start, joins an adventure, and that's what like really develops them as a character. So yeah, I would probably say dreamer, because ultimately everything that she does centers around. I was torn between like the dreamer and the visionary, but I feel like she doesn't have enough experience and or ambition to be a visionary per se. Like she's more of like I said, the dreamer. It's a little more innocent, a little less calculated, and her directions are still kind of everywhere. And so, yeah, that's what I would say for her. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that covers everything. Thank you all for watching this, and I'm also personally very excited to see what everyone else comes up with these chats.
Yes, I can't wait to watch the interviews, but it's been a great time, a lot of fun, chill chat, and I can't wait.
With all these kind of questions that, like, I don't know if it'll happen.
True, I don't think I ever had, like, I've flirted with, like, other PCs and NPCs, and one-shots and stuff, and if I've played a romance, it's between characters that are already married.
Oh, okay.
So, like, we've done Virgil and Finny in a one-shot campaign. Like, they're already married. So, like, I've played those types of relationships, but I've never played, like, a one that starts and ends within a campaign.
But you've done a lot with, like, tags and stuff.
Oh, tags, yeah.
All the
tags
time.
is a whole different story.
Currently
tags,
going on.
Yeah, no, tags, it seems like I do it a lot more than I actually do, because it's only with a few people. It's for the same people.
Yeah.
But,
Snow and Cindy.
Yeah, Snow. Well, actually, I haven't done much with Cindy. Surprisingly.
No, I think you guys just do chicanery together.
It's like fluff. Yeah, it's like they're not like official ships because they're kind of Peter Panish sort of characters.
Yeah.
You know,
Or
so it's like it's
frenemies.
not like yeah, they're not like romance
Yeah.
like, but they are technically like all together often.
Mhm.
Snow's the one that I ship the most with, like, and do actual content, romance content with.
Yeah.
And a lot of like one shot type of things. But yeah, no, Snow's probably definitely. And Jules is the one that I've just now started collaborating with, but that's all new. So I love those though. They're fun.
Yeah.
I love writing.
They're really cute.
I
wish I'd RP'd a bit more with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it looks like we do that.
Cool.
Awesome. Where should we pick up?
All right. I think you were telling us about Felicity's family.
Ah.
She was adopted as well.